In this tutorial, we're going to have a look at some really basic sums. And what we've got here is we've got all of our swimming data here. But what I've done is I've actually just copied it down here because sometimes the formatting means that it picks up some of the automatic features of Excel that we don't really want at the moment. So I've retyped down here my swimming data just for the first weeks 1 and 2, which I should label. And then I've put in the labels for what stroke it is and the times here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a formula in this cell here, in cell D11, that tells me how much better I was in the second week to the first week. Now the way that I would do that normally is I'd go, well, what's 30 minus 28? Easy. Now what I'm going to do here is exactly the same thing. The first thing that I need to do, however, is tell the computer that I'm about to type in a formula and not just random numbers. So I need to press the equals key, which tells the computer that a formula is about to follow. And I'm going to have a look at these cell references. And this one here is B because it's in the B column, and number 11. So I'm going to type in B11, and it highlights it to tell me that that's actually the cell that I'm going to reference. Now I'm going to go minus, and I'm going to do, this time I'm going to do C11. And again it highlights. Now when I press enter, what happens is it tells me that the difference is 2. Now I could have done that in my head, but the advantage of doing it in a spreadsheet is that if I go suddenly, oh well, you know what, I made a mistake in the first week, that time that I had there was actually 32. I stuffed up, whoops. So I'm going to type in here 32 and press enter, and you'll notice what happens is that it changes that automatically. So in terms of the spreadsheet, what it's doing is actually, if you've got a whole heap of numbers that you have to add up, even if you change it later on, it'll automatically update all of the formulas. Now let's have a look at an easier way to do it. So if I type in again equals, so whenever I type in any formula, equals is always the start. And what I can do is instead of figuring out what the cell references are, which is what I did for this one, I can actually just click on that cell reference and it automatically types it in for me. Then I can hit minus and I can put this cell reference in too, and again it automatically pushes it in when I click on it, and I'm just going to press enter. So what I've got here is two formulas, and if you double click on them, you can see exactly where they come from. The other feature of Excel that's really good is that it'll copy down any formulas that you have. So if I go to this little icon on the corner of my box here and click and drag that down, like when I dragged the numbers across, what it does is it actually copies the formula down for you. So if I double click on this one, it automatically goes to those columns. So we call these relative cell references. So it's actually telling it that it's relative to the answer where we've got it stored in. It's going to take 1 over and then 1 forward. So all of those formulas will copy down automatically. There are some other things that we can do that are really easy too. So for example, I've done really well here, a little bit better here and not so well here. I want a number that's going to tell me exactly what's happening here. So what I can do is I can use things like average. So I can type in equals and just type in average. Now the good thing is that it gives me a few hints as I'm going. Open bracket, and I'm going to select all of the numbers that I want the average of. So instead of listing these, so say D11, D12, D13, D14, D15 and D16, what it's giving me is a cell range. Now that cell range is all of the cells between D11 and D16. And of course all of my formulas need to end in a close bracket. So when we open our brackets, we close a bracket. So this will give me the average of all of these numbers. So if I press enter, the average is 0.5. So I've gotten a little bit better average overall.